Hey there, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. I hope that everyone is doing well today and coming live to you from Northern Virginia, here visiting my daughter-in-law and our new grandbaby and our 9-year-old granddaughter. So it's been a really fun Mother's Day weekend. Lots of great questions today, so I'm going to pop over to the Facebook group and help Kathy out a little bit. And Kathy, this does indeed look like just blowing coat. So what's happening is essentially the undercoat is coming out from underneath there, and it's that's a fairly normal thing. And especially since I think you guys have gotten like 85 degrees or something insane uh, in LA there. And the 2 a day is good, and it's okay that it doesn't have any taurine in it because it should be that you're getting plenty of taurine, or she's getting plenty of the taurine from the diet. So I'm going to pop because I know you've got another question that was a little bit more scary. And she'd taken Daisy to the vet because her lip has been looking strange for a while and getting worse. And I know this is super frustrating, Kathy. So the vet says, oh, she really, really needs a teeth cleaning badly and wants to do pre-op tests. And I think this is still, I don't know if you've gotten back home or not, but the hemoglobin is high at 20.9. The platelet count is low at 162, which generally means that the sample clotted, so the hemoglobin may not be valid. And then her creatinine is 2, and that she's dehydrated. So this is a little confusing, Kathy, and I think this is where I kind of need to look at the whole picture. And then ultimately, what did she say about her lip? What did she think was going on there? And was she fasted prior to taking those samples? And that's really going to kind of help determine what's what. So I'm not sure if you're on or not, Kathy, but let's see if I can figure out what's what here. I'm on having to use Mary Jo's computer. And was she fasted? And so it's a little weird. Sorry. So at any rate, no, that's not going to be helpful. So if let me know how that's going on. And if we need to have a conversation, happy to do that. But creatinine being 2, that's a little high, but I wonder what else is going on. And also make sure that they have gotten a urinalysis to make sure there's no evidence of urinary tract infection present. So hopefully that is helpful and you've been able to get this before you left. And Jamie has good Willie news, which is wonderful, because God knows you all needed it. So I'll kind of go through a couple of questions she's posted here. So let's see, let me just put this in there. So this product, not so much. I think this is the one. So this is kind of, if you've been listening to me for a while, I don't like these sort of proprietary formulas because you have no idea in this 1.85 gram tablet how much of the 1.85 grams is actually what is what. Like, for Willie, he should be getting somewhere in the order of probably 3 grams of omega-3 fatty acids. And so I don't like these, that all of these are, good ideas, but I don't know if they're in efficacious doses or not. And then we've got a lot of kind of junk stuff in here. So this one, maybe not. There is a DIM 50. I think you can do all of these better individually. There is a DIM 50 type product. Let's let's see, that is an extract of broccoli essentially, and so it is an NRF. Yeah, so any of these types of things are going to be kind of what you want to look for. But these are, the same purpose, and this is why you want to eat broccoli, to help prevent cancers, essentially. Let me show you this. And if you need, so the DIIM is and I apologize if this is going crazy, but my net's a little slow. But this is actually kind of the mother of all NRF2 inhibitors, or promoters. So I think that is a better choice than this product, because these are all sort of hot and bother, the big news right now. And I said it sideways, NRF2 activating ingredients, but I don't think this is necessarily a good product for you. Now, this one was interesting. So this product is pretty unique in that let me see if this will blow up properly. Again, it is a proprietary blend, but what's interesting is it contains palladium, rhodium, and ruthenium, and they're billing these as rare minerals. In truth, what they are rare metals, essentially. So palladium, for instance, is what is used to treat, so it's part of the platinum drugs, cancer. So cisplatinum, and all of the others. So let me pop over here. So I think this one may be worth looking at. So I've got a couple of links all dropped in. And this was a study where they used, these were all patients that are in stage 4, end stage, essentially, cancer, and they, they're at their wits' end and have very few options. And so what they did was use this product in combination with metronomic chemotherapy, which is part of what you're considering, and compared it to only using poly-MVA supplement. And the overall response rate to both the chemotherapy and the poly-MVA was 61%, which is pretty damn good for where things are for these patients. And then the response rate to poly-MVA only was 39%. So, and then what they're also saying is that initial IV loading versus oral loading, they had a 12% improvement. So if you back that back out, we're down to 49% versus 39%, but that's still an improvement. So it's very interesting, and part of what, and let me drop this in here for you. Part of what I think is making this work is the heavy metals are essentially protecting somewhat the cell from, it's because I put it in the wrong spot, protecting the normal cells from the damage of the chemotherapy. So there's this article, and then there was a Science Direct article about its protective effects in radiation therapy. I apologize, you're getting the guts view of the whole. So I thought these were two very interesting articles, and I think this is worth pursuing, Jamie, especially if you are at the point of pursuing conventional, or rather metronomic chemotherapy versus something like doxorubicin. And that's where, you got to put the metal to the road. So if that's your only option, is it good? But I think based on these pictures, he's looking better. And here's one of the things I wanted to show you if this didn't make sense to you. So I think this is the more recent photo. Hopefully I'm actually correct. And then this was back in April 28th. Now the lighting is a little different and things of that nature. And if we look at his face, he's more, even on both sides, which is good. But the other thing I'm looking at is his tongue color. He's still a little lavender, which is red and lavender, which is associated with cancer. But this tongue is super lavender. So I think this is very, very encouraging for Willie that you are making some progress um, with acupuncture and a few other things. And I'm hearing something do something, but I don't know what. Maybe Hannah's telling me I've lost my marbles. Okay, good. I haven't. So Jamie, I think this is really encouraging, and it's good to know that the acupuncture is working well. And, doxorubicin, there is a potential side effect, which is huge, which is a pretty massive effect on the heart. If your oncologist is willing to help you with metronomic chemotherapy, I think that's probably the best at this point, because that's a better solution long term to everything. I think there was one more, the ticks, and we'll get to that in a second. But first, we get to look at these beautiful pictures of Mr. Dino. And Karen, so glad you posted these. But this is just a gorgeous shot of him. So thanks for sharing those with us. Now, on to the ticks. What do you do about them? Where you are, you have a lot of tick-borne disease. And so what I'm going to tell you isn't necessarily super natural. I think all of those things are helpful. I would look at a shoe collar or a bug zone collar, which is this thing here. And the way these work is that they create an electromagnetic field that repels the ticks. And from what from talking to clients in the Northeast, they found these very, very helpful. Now, the one codicil is it's not a good choice for pets with seizures, because it can make that seizure threshold more sensitive and create seizures from, allow them to happen more frequently. So, but this is a good option. Seresto collars, if this isn't working, cedar oil, things of that nature. I think you really have to be more aggressive. Cedar oil, Wondercide, all of that stuff, any of the essential oil sprays, you need to really cover all of his body, especially the legs and things of that nature. But you do have to use those every 12 hours or something like this. Now, the other option is going to be like a Seresto collar if that is just not working, because that's, you really want to keep these guys off. It's just not worth developing anaplasmosis, which I think is actually getting to be more common in your area than Lyme disease is, although you've got all of that out there. So that's where I would head. Diatomaceous earth will help somewhat. Burning out underbrush or really raking out underbrush helps, and go from there, and then pull the ticks off. Now, as far as the tick bites themselves, yeah, you can try that homeopathic, but I would frankly consider a preventive round of doxycycline, which is an antibiotic, but what it does is actually kill the organisms. And in many cases, if within 24 hours of the tick you seeing the engorged or attached tick on the bug, if you give a single large dose, like for us, it's 500 milligrams. For a Willie-sized dog, I'd use the same dose. It seems to work really well and prevent issues as far as tick-borne disease spreading. So I think that is that for you. And then Kay's asking about poor Albert. And Kay, I'm not sure if literally this was between his legs or was like between his flank and that kind of stuff. So one solution you could try is, if I can find it again, is one of these onesies. And so there's a ton of them out there. This one is Shed Defender. Let me just pop onto the website there. And the one, I think, if you're saying it's like between his legs where the tail is, or even if it's in this region, you should be able to put some sort of compressive material like a towel or something of that nature to help this stay compressed and keep that fluid out. And then by using the towel, it will absorb all of the goo that's being produced. And I mean, 2 weeks later, I'm so sorry, because it's just not, it shouldn't be a deal. It shouldn't be going on this long, but I think this is going to be critical for you to get some control, is to use some sort of a compression suit. The one downside to this one is, I don't know, maybe they do have a zipper, so you can kind of let them urinate with more ease, and then that'll make it easy to get the towel out when it's soaked. You may want to get a couple of them just so it's easier to throw them in the washing machine or rinse them out if they're having a problem. So I think that would be a really good option as far as helping you get some additional compression going on, because that's just miserable. So let me drop this in the comments too, for Pete's sake. And let's see if that works. And Hayo's going to tell you all about it. You're good. So there's that, I hope. Or it didn't go through. Hayo, you're good. Not sure where that comment went. But, there it is. Okay. This is what the problem was. All right, cool. Good. Jamie, I'm glad. All right, so this, anyway, I'm smart as I can be today. Yes, and Pam, I am still recommending the Seresto with all the problems in the news, because it's just, and I think I talked about this a few weeks ago, but basically what's happening is people are blaming whatever they're seeing in their pets on whatever went on the pet last, when there's absolutely no reaction. Like, they're saying, I think a lot of the comments were, and this is sort of down in the articles as well. They're assuming that anything that happens is because of the whatever it is. And so in this case, it's Seresto collar. And it's just, they are not symptoms that we see with Seresto. So typically we'll see skin irritations, we'll see we'll see in some dogs a very mild reaction, which stops when you take the collar off. And I think the more serious reactions, like autoimmune disease, I mean, they're saying that the Seresto collar was on for 2 days and it gave their dogs cancer. And it's just not the deal. So it's really awful. And so, for instance, we had somebody email us saying, you must have changed your formula for holistic total body support, because I gave my boxer 1 teaspoon and he had horrible diarrhea for 4 days. Is it possible? It's possible. If he's really super sensitive, but we didn't change the formula except to add taurine and take out PABA and actually take out alfalfa, because it turns out that, yeah, while that's a really good idea, most of it is not cleanly produced. So it is really super frustrating, and I think you guys got to take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, it's astonishing to me what we like to tell ourselves stories, and so we make the simplest story that we can think of, but often it's not the real deal. So it's not the cause and effect that we thought really existed. So I hope that is helpful. And what other questions have you guys got? I think I am through pretty much everything. Let me just pop over to the Facebook page and make sure. So, okay, hopefully that helped you with the compression suit, but I think that's really what you're going to have to do. That's a tough area because he had to take some skin, and my guess is that things are not good. And I got Kathy's question, and that's what I got for you today. So remember, you are now all Ipets Ultimate members, and so that entitles you to the monthly Ipets learning topic, which will be our learning presentation, which will be the 25th of this month. So I'm happy to come up with something to talk with you all about and teach you on a bit. We talked about the CBD, how CBD works and how to look for a good product, and the folks at CBD Dog Health were kind enough to lend me their slide deck and educate me a bit more. So we'll get that, that should be going up in the members area pretty quickly. But let me know what I can do to help educate you more. I mean, you guys teach me so much, and then it's like a fun deep dive into some research to figure out what's working and not working. So let me know, let Hannah know, post it here, post it wherever. Thanks so much. Take good care, and until next week, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. Cheers.